What will we do with the drunken sailor? What will we do with the drunken sailor? What will we do with the drunken sailor early in the morning?
Well, welcome back to Mages and Sages podcast, interview with the Old Mage, starring Ed Greenwood, myself, Jeff Thetford, and Curry Russell. Our guest tonight is Eric Menge, and I think you really enjoy what Eric has done and things he's doing in the present and coming up in the future. I really do hope you enjoy the show.
Rises way, hey, and up she rises way, hey, and up she rises early in the morning.
We should get started.
Yep.
I want to welcome everybody here to the podcast. We have a very special guest. This is Eric Menge, and he has done quite a few actually things with the Forgotten Realms and the Adventure League. And I'm going to list what I have. If there's more, this is all I could find. And I do have a copy of one that I did not put up there, which is the most recent one for the Adventures League. It is Rising Shadows, Moonshade Isle Regional Guide. And this is a wonderful piece of depth lore that you have blessed us with. We do appreciate that. We have you here, worked on Minza Baranzan, City of Intrigue, Nature and Nurture. Now, what was that?
That was a short campaign that Adventures League did, or before that was RPGA, called Legacy of the Green Regent. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
I am not.
Yep. It was set in the upper Delimbier River in the high forest near Loudwater. And that one is all about the fairy.
Oh, really?
About a fairy who fakes her death so she can escape the other fairy.
Oh, I may have to check that out because I did not know that.
She needed a whole bunch of dupes to help her. adventurers to help her escape.
Now that's a campaign, though, right?
Legacy of the Green Regent.
Yeah, that's an actual campaign, and then you have Humility. I think it's called Humility.
I thought that was a Greyhawk one.
Was that great? No, I don't think so. Here, let me look it up for you here.
That was the one where you said, I don't even remember what that is. Oh, when you mentioned it, I don't remember right.
Here we go. Bodies are being found in the city of Loudwater with their brains extracted. Does that sound familiar?
No.
Considering the trouble with mind flayers that has been experienced lately, it is fairly clear what is responsible. High Lord Katahar Two Hands also has a spy in the Zentarum who has suddenly stopped feeding him information. Nothing?
I don't remember this at all. I'm sorry.
This is Legacy of the Green Regent.
I remember Nurture and Nature. I don't remember Humility.
Yeah. Humility is the Legacy of the Green Regent. So the other one,
it afflicts us all. We all forget humility.
No.
They're both. They're both.
Eric had additional material. It was written by Christopher Lindsay. It's LGR 11, and it says additional material by Ed Greeley, Eric, and Stephen Radney McFarland.
Sidney Radney McFarland, you're right. There you go. Is that what it says? The picture was too small for me. Sorry.
Eric is the additional material. So you may not even know that they put your stuff in there.
I pulled some background info I had on Loudwater and threw that in the adventure, and then I got a credit that way.
Yep.
Okay, so that's what it is. This is additional adventure for Nature and Nurture. Okay, all right, that makes sense. Then we have the Adventures League Fathomless.
Thank you, Prime Eric. I appreciate
that. There you go. Thank you, Eric 1.
Eric number 1.
Eric 1 and Eric 2, that's right.
I have all the LGR modules in PDF because I was using them for research when I was writing Crown of Irlan. Right. So I had to keep it consistent.
Oh, we have to get back to you because apparently Eric 2 doesn't. We're going to go over what you're doing with his module.
Okay.
Eric, and then we have Fathomless Pits of Ill Intent.
Yes.
Which sounds wonderful. I like that. And then the
that was
Rising
the Tomb of Annihilation.
Was it?
Yeah,
wow.
The Adventures League was doing Tomb of Annihilation stuff, and that was all about Yan T.
Oh, here. The adventure module set in the Forgotten Realms using the Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition to Annihilation series of adventures. Okay, the time is now, the Yanti on the cusp of freeing an ancient being of unsurmountable evil from its imprisonment.
Yeah.
And then we have the one...
There are pits in it.
There you go. And then we have the one here that I have in my hand, Rising Shadows, the Moonshade Isle Regional Guide, which is your more recent one. Anyway, before we get too far into it, I want you to tell us about the game you've been running for how many years now that Eric did under Ilfarn?
Yes. Yes.
Eric 1, you weren't here for this, so...
Way back in the heady days of
I do remember that he was running.
There was a different president back then. And you sent me a draft that you were working on for Under Ilfarn Anew, which I then printed out and proceeded to make all sorts of notes for, and we have been running it ever since.
It's only 36 pages long.
The original adventure was 32 pages.
32?
Levels
32
1 to 4.
pages.
This says it's levels 1 to 8. My characters are currently 14. And we have been running it now for 8 years, and they're almost done with it. It's been a fantastic resource for the...
Quick, Eric, send him the supplement.
I did. That's why I've been drawing from the higher level stuff.
How many pages is it now, Eric?
I think I quit at like 306.
No. Isn't it 600 pages? No, 306.
No.
This one is indeed 306.
Oh, you got it.
306 for that. Yeah.
But this doesn't include Crown of Erlon.
Crown of Erlon is about 500 pages right now, but it's not quite done.
It'll never be done.
I got a little distracted writing another one called Renewal of the Covenant that's 300 pages long.
Eric, you know that we all die eventually, right? You understand there's no rolling up new characters. We get one shot at this, buddy.
Well, then you gotta open a few more doors a little faster.
I'm in a group full of completionists.
Weirdly enough, I found that Under Ilfarn actually goes really well with another piece you did, where you adapted the Age of Worms adventure path from Isa for Forgotten Realms. So I actually was able to draw a lot from that, and so a lot of the villains are all part of the Ebon Triad, who are trying to bring back Jergal. And that was the blind plot behind the whole thing.
Wow.
I remember that you mixed those two together, and I thought that was absolutely brilliant. For those who don't remember, in N5 Under Ilfarn, there's this unexplained sort of noxious green liquid that starts infecting the River Delambir and coming down the river, and you have to go figure out where the green liquid is coming from. And to dovetail that in with the Age of Worms was just perfect. I really liked it. Was it really? Oh yeah, it works perfectly.
I hate those zombies so much. Green screen Mars zombies. They're about ready to fight the Avatar of Cayuse.
Oh my god!
Wow, that's a big deal.
Very nice. No, it sounds like a great campaign.
And what level are they?
17?
14, 15.
15.
It's gotten kind of crazy over the top because it's so high level at this point. So I decided, we're going to run with it. So they are now have befriended a number of dragons, so they're able to ride Dragonback. And they're going to be doing that because the Ebon Triad has the Paladins of Tethiamar, who have figured out the ancient war machines of the Arya Vandar, which looks a lot like Voltron.
Really?
At the old Voltron toys. And I am there now. These Paladins are manning these elven war machines they're going to put together into the legendary Defender, and they're going to have to fight this all-on dragon.
Oh, I love it.
What was that was said earlier about opening more doors faster?
Yeah. Yeah.
Eric's referring to the campaign we're playing on Saturday nights. Snapshot, quick, Curry, take a snapshot. Wow, look at that.
Got it.
That was beautiful.
I love
beautiful.
The feet.
No,
the feet were really cool.
The really cool part was when we first go in there, you got a place called the Hall of Whirling Blades, and we walk down the hallway, and he says you find this whole pile of beautifully masterwork, just swords and axes and beauty. He's detailing them like any dwarf would just have an orgasm looking at these things. And of course, my character and Christie's character are like, wow, masterwork. These are beautiful. We want one. So we had Eric's son, Alexander, mage-handed one of them to us. And we're like, yeah, we got a brand new sword. And then they all started coming up and whirling.
Yep.
Of course, we weren't thinking about Hall of Whirling Blades.
Jeff, the first thing you do is run like hell. And the second thing you do is bring in a whole bunch of empty strong chests, and you throw all those things in and lock the chests. Then you just have to worry about large chests whirling around hitting you.
Yeah, that's blunt trauma. That's okay. Well, luckily there was a limited time.
The Hall of Whirling Chests. I like it. That's got a certain ring
There
to
you
it.
go. Yeah, well. Can you
good.
still make the tassels go in opposite directions? That's good to know.
Wrong chest there.
Oh,
no,
sorry. Sorry.
Okay, Eric.
It's a Canadian thing.
Eric, I have a question for you right off the bat here. Unless you have, what's going on with Eric right now? What are you doing in the realms right now? What is your next realms project? Your next focus of interest? And hopefully it's in the realms.
Well, right now I'm finished. I'm the Moonshade story architect for Old Mage Games. Wizards, in a very ill-considered move, gave us our own region inside the Adventurers League, where we could do pretty much whatever we wanted in our own story. And they gave us the Moonshades, which we love. And we're right now doing the campaign Rising Shadows, which details the rise of a mysterious creature from the Shadowfell, whose name is only known as the Slain, and who is determined to conquer the Moonshades and bring them in under her control as the Dark Shades.
I love it.
And how much?
Is that that picture?
How many spoilers do you want?
Oh, as many as you want to give out. But is that picture? Is that picture you sent me?
Yes, that would be the Slain.
Oh, that was
Have it?
beautiful. I could get it. Hold on. No, keep talking. I'll pull it up.
Because this is grounded in D&D in Realms novels, particularly the Druid Home Chronicles, written by Doug. The Slain is none other than Deirdre Kendrick.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
And when you run into her, she still has all the shards from the exploding Mirror of Talos. And the ethereal sword shoved through her chest that is a ghostly echo of the sword that her sister Alicia used to kill her.
Wow. How cool is that?
Okay, hold on.
And it's why she has a connection, because she's a Kendrick, to the Moonwells. And
Let me share. You can keep talking. I'm just going to share the screen that has that on there and show them. Wonderful. Let me know when you can see it here.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That was by Veronika Fedorova, the Swedish artist who has been working with us on a number of our works for Rising Shadows. She's incredibly talented.
Oh, it's an incredible picture. Isn't that great?
Mm-hmm.
We took her a lot of the inspiration from a dark Elonwe from the Chronicles of Prydain, because Doug was using the Chronicles as a starting point for the Moonshades when he was writing his books. And we wanted to do a dark reflection of Elonwe.
That's just incredible. That's incredible. And what I'd like to do is make an offer to you. If you want to do another, remember the LARP that y'all did at Gen Con last year? If you want to do one of those live on here, we can run it on Twitch or something, and then have people vote in on it at the same time, or something like that. I think that would be really, if you have any more to do.
Unfortunately, all of our cons keep getting canceled, so we haven't been able to put anything together. But I could talk to Sarah and the team and see if they can put something together for us.
Yeah, we talk to Sarah and Carl pretty regular. I'm sure we would love to have you guys put something together. And correct me if I'm wrong, Eric. I remember the first time we met, we had spent some time after the Candlekeep session. You guys had mentioned that, because we were guffawing over the presentation you guys had done for us. Totally stole the show, and it was a great experience. You guys had just freeformed most of that because you'd just recently met. Most of that was like impromptu ham acting with no real prep time. Because if that's true, then the amount of talent that came out of each of those role players was astounding. That is how I enjoy playing Dungeons and Dragons the most, in that element. It was just so well done.
Thank you.
So if we actually gave you guys more than a 5 minutes head start, I can only imagine how good the next chapter would be.
We've been working on that interactive for a couple months to work that out, and so they all had different factions have like one-page sheets.
Right.
what they wanted and what they do and what their arguing points were. So they had that set up, but we didn't know we were going to do the presentation at the panel, because we were supposed to do it as an interactive, but Gen Con didn't get us on the schedule until like 4 days before the con, and then no one could sign up for it because it was 4 days before the con.
Right.
So we had a free slot. So what changed was the presentation. But all the background and the lore and the conflict was already worked out.
Yeah, but you know what? It was even Carl said
talented people.
Oh, they are. Carl said that he had to wing it because he had no idea what he was going to say. He had a one-line note on a piece of paper. He showed it to us, and basically what he was doing, and the rest of it he had to just wing it. They did a great job.
Yeah.
Really did. And I'd love to have them on, and Jennifer as well. She said that she'd love to come on as well.
She's fantastic too.
She's more into the Hollywood type stuff anyway. But I think it'd be great if y'all want to do some kind of presentation or something that's coming up for the Moonshays, and we could do it here and let them do it live.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're wrapping up the campaign at Winter Fantasy this year.
Are you really?
Happens. But after that, we could certainly do some sort of coda or something connected to it.
Yeah.
I could talk to them and see what they want to do. Or we could do it something before leading up to the conclusion, because we have to have all of our stuff in like 3-4 months before the show.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So we then have that gap. And yours would be freeform as you will. Style of presentation. We wouldn't have to get everything approved since we're not handing out magic items or treasure.
Right. No, I think that would be absolutely incredible, because it was such an incredible experience what everybody did, and the acting was superb. The LARPing was just incredible, and you saw the response of everybody.
They loved it.
At Candle.
We did it again at this past Winter Fantasy before the plague came and shut everything down. That was early February. They did it again? Mm-hmm. We did it one more time there. We learned a lot of lessons. One, you do it at a show where you control the space.
Right.
We're thinking about doing something similar to that at this year's with the forces of the armies of the Isles gathering to fight the slain, who are led by Pyrel Hyrath, the now tarnished Inquisitor, who is High Priest of Helm in the Druid Home books.
Right.
He was his spirit was pulled into with Deirdre down to the Shadowfell, and so he's come back as a Death Knight.
Yeah, so Deirdre coming back with all the shards and the sword through her, and you have him coming back as a Death Knight.
Might not be him, actually. She had so much of Talos's power in her whenever she was killed,
right,
that all that power came out in weird ways.
Oh, okay.
And it might be that it's not actually Pyrel Hyrath. It's a conjured shadow reflection of him.
Right.
It is Pyrel Hyrath. We haven't said yet.
You haven't said yet? Well, we do look forward to that. And I got a great question here for you concerning Moonwells.
Yes.
Okay. Are they doorways to endless adventure, or just rectal pain for the DM?
Is that an either or?
Why not both?
That came from Ed. That came from Ed, just so you know.
We went hardcore on that. The the Moonwells were Deus Ex Machina.
Yeah. And
they worked when the Earth Mother wanted them to work. Okay. And how she wanted them to work. And if she didn't want them to work, and then they don't work for you. So that allows the GM to keep them under control.
Okay.
But they're also, because she is, we went with the idea that Earth Mother was a primal spirit. They're highly susceptible to corruption because she's not a god.
Right.
And as a consequence, she is physically here on the material plane and can be touched. She doesn't have the protections that the gods of the Forgotten Realms have by being extracted to another plane, which in some ways protects them from a lot of the shenanigans that the poor Earth Mother has to contend with on a daily basis. But boy, do people like Moonwells.
They do. I know.
They're so iconic. And every adventure is like, oh, there's a Moonwell in the corner of this dungeon. Huh, okay. And then I just say, well, it's a minor one, then that will probably fade away. That they're constantly like bubbling up here and there, and then some stay, and then some just fade away, and that lets me hand wave writers who have gotten crazy with the Moonwells.
Moonwell in every dungeon, right?
Oh yeah,
It's just a plaque, guys. It's just a plaque.
Yeah.
They're called moon puddles.
Moon puddles.
Weirdly enough, we went with moon pools.
That's right. That's right. What'd you step in? A moon puddle. Oh, damn it.
Oh. But we have Ed's descriptions of all those. Was that in Halls of the High King?
Halls of the High King, yes.
Yes, that had all the
Appendix
powers listed.
six
And I looked down and I'm like, there is no way I could put this in an adventure.
No. So Ed, talking about Moonwell, how did you come up with the idea, the concept of the Moonwells?
No, that was in Doug's stuff. I just had the and he got it from Abraham Merritt's Moon Pools.
Oh yeah.
There are Moon Pool. That was a novel, a fantasy novel by Abraham Merritt. If you look on Amazon, these days he's usually A. Merritt or AA Merritt, just his initials, but Abraham Merritt. He did The Ship of Ishtar and various others, but the Moon Pool is one of his novels, and that was in the original, but it had no game stats.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, the Moon Pool.
Yeah, there you go. For Halls of the High King, Halls of the High King is not an adventure module, or at least it isn't really. It's a campaign foundation module. That's what I was asked to write by TSR. So it's got all this toolbox, all those appendices at the end, the Moonwells being one of them, are a toolbox for a Dungeon Master. I remember distinctly that particular one, the Moonwell, was the sexy one. It was the one Jim Ward wanted to make sure that he read over before the book went to production.
Right.
And because of that, I had to leave out my favorite thing, which was the Moonwell that dumped you into another Moonwell that dumped you into another Moonwell, all of which affected you. And Jeff Grubb said, I'm stealing that for Spelljammer. It's not going
Of course, yeah.
And we actually had a monster that got killed that was going to be in Spelljammer, which was a monster that an Archlich could defend itself with, which was in effect a giant Moonwell with legs. So imagine
with legs.
Imagine a monster with a large belly that faces you.
Right.
And then when you attack it, its belly button opens like an iris, zip, and you're now facing a large round mirror with arms and legs and a head.
Wow.
And that mirror is a Moonwell, and just
Sucks you right in.
So when your fighter charges with his blade, or your magic user, because they were magic users back then, if your magic user hurls his lightning bolt or fireball, the Moonwell accepts the lightning bolt or fireball, and then somehow you are plucked after your spell and pulled into the Moonwell and spat out somewhere else.
Wow.
With your fireball? With your fireball?
With your fireball. It's got to go off somewhere.
Wow. Well, Eric, what are you looking up?
Aha. Halls of the High King.
Halls of the High King. There you go.
Nice.
We had to read all this stuff before we went in.
By the way, that was a 3-week module.
Was it really?
Yeah.
You took your time on that one, Ed.
Yeah.
I desperately wanted to figure out how to work this one in, but
yeah.
What was that? I didn't see it.
It's the she, or the Leonian she.
We have a were-dragon.
Oh my god.
A were-dragon?
They're
Did I hear
actually
that right?
song dragons now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're called
Wow.
song dragons now because
Yeah.
it blew their minds to have were-dragons.
Yeah. But you see, that's what I was doing. I was putting in fun things a DM could build a campaign around. And then when the campaign shifted direction, they could say, oh, I got more toys here. I can just throw them in.
And Jim Ward was taking him out.
No. He was making sure that I did not blow word count because, I was infamous for writing twice as long. And you see, they love that.
Ed, that's really shocking. I can't see how you would ever do that.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
They loved that at the beginning because they just chopped the extra stuff off, dropped it in a bucket, and got a free product. Like FR5 or whatever.
Yeah.
But then later on, they would say, look, you know how we give you like 2 weeks or 3 weeks to do something? we're under the gun like this too. And you know what takes the longest? Shortening stuff.
Right.
So it would be really nice if you came in on word count occasionally. So that's when all the extra stuff went away. Because I just used to keep sending and sending and sending, and people like Steve Shand would go, "Oh, this is cool. Oh, this is cool. Oh, I got to work this in. Oh, this is cool. This is cool." And then their poor editrix, usually Karen, now Karen Conlon, would say, "You realize you are 72 pages over on word count?" And he'd say, "Well, Ed always says make it mouse type." No. We used mouse type in FR1, Waterdeep in the North. And because I thought there was no reason why gamers could not go to a craft and hobby store and buy a magnifying glass like everybody else. And we don't need margins. Yeah, I was young then.
These glasses are because of Eric Boyd's avatars.
I was going to say,
it's an avatars.
I did not pick the background.
No. We play tested that. I didn't wear glasses before that.
Yeah.
I had 20/20 vision, and then Boyd came.
Well, here's the thing. I grew up reading British wartime paperbacks. Give one to a friend in uniform. They had paper shortages. So not only was the paper so thin you could see through it and see the type on the other side, they just dropped point sizes and dropped point sizes and dropped point sizes until a decent book that you wanted to read, like a Saint murder mystery, was this thick.
Wow.
Because they'd made it tiny, footnote-sized type for the whole book.
Right.
I grew up with that, so that was normal to me. And I would open these American picture books for kids, and there'd be like giant font like a billboard and then white space and then a second line, and I'd say, "What's wrong with these people? Are they all blind or something?" You could get 8 times as much if you just squidged it down. And of course, now that I'm slightly older and have glasses, I know I'm not wearing them now.
You finally figured out what's wrong with Americans.
Wow.
but yeah, I didn't think there should be any white space. You don't need margins. You need a gutter, because otherwise, where the pages come together, you can't read those few. But you can go right out to the edge, because they did in wartime. They had to. And when I grew up in writing, we didn't have writing paper. We had brown paper bags that my aunt had brought back from the supermarket, cut open so they'd be flat, ironed, and then they were given to us kids to draw on with crayons and stuff. And then I discovered how my dad took notes. You took a really, really sharp pencil, because, usually a drafting pencil that wouldn't go blunt, and you wrote on the brown paper, right across it, for 3 feet. And then you turned the paper and wrote across yourself in the other direction.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
And then if you could still think, you wrote diagonally to fill the rest of the thing, and then you turned the paper over and did it again on the other side.
Wow.
That's what paper shortages do. So that's what I was used to. So I couldn't understand what all this white space was for. I get it now, particularly when I see beautiful art books where the art is on the page behind the text.
Right.
And it's beautifully composed. And I love books like that. Like many of the 5th edition Realms things, done both officially and on DM's Guild by diverse hands, look beautiful because people are really designing stuff. But at the time, it was like, you could cram another 330 pages into this. And that's why halflings are known as Hin.
Really?
Because when I wrote the 5 Shires, and I thought, the word halflings is too long and it keeps breaking on lines, and Who's Heard doesn't like it when there's hyphens and breaks. I need a shorter word. How short can I go? 3 letters. I'll just make up this word Hin. So I did a global search and replace of halflings to Hin, and then just went back and put the first one back in to explain what Hin was. Halflings are
Right.
Hin. And
That's
then
why
all of a sudden...
Isn't that why we also don't have orcanophalics?
Yes. Yeah. But it also means you can get way more stuff into the same product.
That's true.
with no loss of meaning or comprehension.
Well, you went from halfling, a word this long, to a word this long.
Yeah, bing, all of a sudden, because in those days, by then, TSR, I'd beaten them to their knees. And Julia Martin sent me a template, a Word stationery file, and said, just type in this. Because they were getting so fed up with my storyboards where I squidged a few extra lines of text and made the artwork a little smaller. And they said, no, Ed, stop doing it. Use this template. Type in the template and then save it. Type in the template
What
and then
fun
save
is that?
it. Yeah. So that's how I knew that a shorter word was going to break and leave so much more in. Because I had to put in those halfling recipes.
Of course you did.
I had to put in the ale.
Yeah,
they
but
did take out all the stuff about combing their hairy feet.
Why? That's part of the whole ambient. That's part of the whole thing.
Yeah, because one of the ladies in the typing pool, in those days, before computers, you delivered the thing, and they had a whole bunch of middle-aged ladies in the Midwest who'd just been secretaries for various companies.
Right.
And they hired them short-term to be the typing pool. And their job was to input all our stuff, which, by the way, all of us freelancers hated. Because they would take medieval language and turn it into modern American.
Oh no! On the spot editing. Wow.
Mergers, takeovers. And whenever they came across a word they didn't understand, like prithee, or something like that, something medieval, they just go, I don't know. I think he meant the word practice, and that's what they type.
Oh.
Oh yeah. So we had to rescue it. But anyway.
Well, I do hope everyone enjoyed that first installment of the interview with Eric Menge and the Old Mage. Stay tuned next week. We will have part 2 of our interview with Eric Menge. Until then, keep playing on the raps.
Early in the morning. Put him in the bed with the captain's daughter. Put him in the bed with the captain's daughter. Put him in the bed with the captain's daughter. Early in the morning. Way, hey, and up she rises. Way,